The first one we're going to write is the commutative. C-O-M-M-U-T-A-T-I-V-E. Commutative. C-O-M-M-U-T-A-T-I-V-E. Commutative property of addition. The commutative property of addition. And once you have the commutative property of addition, you open it up. And the commutative property of addition, I'm going to write on the back of the flap. Order does not matter when adding. Order does not matter when adding. We can abbreviate this by saying it's the CPM. Commutative property of addition. Oh my gosh, A. Yes. CPA, sorry. Commutative property of addition. On the non-cut part, we're going to put some examples because 3 plus 4 is the same thing as 4 plus 3. Is that true? Yeah. Order doesn't matter. Gentlemen, you need to pay attention. Order doesn't matter when you're adding. Another example would be 2 plus 1 plus 7 is the same thing as 7 plus 2 plus 1. It only works when you're only adding. If I had a subtraction up there, it wouldn't work. If I had a multiplication up there, it wouldn't work. It only works if it's only adding. Order of adding does not matter. Commutative property of addition. Next one. Commutative. Same spelling as before. Property of multiplication. Commutative. C-O-M-M-U-T-A-T-I-V-E. Commutative property of multiplication. And we open just that one up. And we go to the side. And we're going to say over here that order does not matter when multiplying. John and Gabe, get with us, please. Order does not matter when multiplying. But it's only multiplication. Only if it's only multiplication. The order does not matter. So CPM, which is what I tried to do last time. Commutative property of multiplication. Max, face the front, please. So let's put an example or two. 7 times 9 is the same thing as 9 times 7. Both produce the same answer. Three times 13 times 8 is the same thing as 13 times 3 times 8. As long as it's only multiplication, you can switch it around no matter what you want. Next, associative. A-S-S-O-C-I-A-T-I-V-E. Associative. A-S-S-O-C-I-A-T-I-V-E. Associative property of addition. And then open it up. And the associative property of addition is the numbers inside parentheses do not matter when adding. If you're only adding, if the numbers inside the parentheses don't matter, meaning the numbers inside the parentheses change. They're different from one problem to the next problem. If the orders inside the parentheses change, it doesn't matter if you're adding. The numbers inside parentheses do not matter when adding if they change. What do you think this is abbreviated to? You can do it. APA. Associative property of addition. Well, let's go to this side. And here's our problem. 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 3 plus 2 plus 1. Those are the same order, aren't they? Yeah. But look, I'm going to put parentheses around 3 and 2. And I'm going to put parentheses around 2 and 1. Did the numbers inside the parentheses change? Yes. Yes. But it doesn't change the answer. Oh. 7 plus 4 plus 9 equals 4 plus 9 plus 7. If I have 4 and 9 inside my parentheses, and I have 9 and 7 inside my parentheses, did the numbers inside the parentheses change? Yeah. But are they all still the same three numbers? So the answer doesn't change. Close it up. Associative property of multiplication. Associative property of multiplication. Cameron, focus. Then we slide over. And the associative property of multiplication says the numbers inside the parentheses change. It does not matter. If the numbers inside the parentheses change, it doesn't matter. Nothing changes. It's the same answer as long as it's only multiplication. This one is APM. The numbers inside the parentheses change. It doesn't matter as long as it's only multiplication. So let's look at an example. 3 times 4 times 7. 3 times 4 times 7. If I have 3 and 4 inside parentheses, that's going to give me the same answer as if I have 4 and 7 inside parentheses. And if you were doing mental math, I'd choose to do this one first, because I can do 3 times 4, which is 12. And then I can figure out times 7. Some of you are going to say, you know, Mrs. Long, I want to do 4 times 7, which is 28 times 3. Right? It just depends on who you are. Same thing. 9 times 15 times negative 3 is the same thing as negative 3 times 9 times 15. This is just changing the order, correct? If there were no parentheses, all I did was change the order. What's that called? The commutative property of addition. But the moment I add in parentheses, it changes from commutative to associative. Here's how I remember it. Excuse me. The commutative property is like a community. It doesn't matter what order you are, any of that business. Commutative is community. They love each other no matter what. Associative, the numbers only associate with certain numbers. They're in groups. They're in grouping symbols. They're fancy. All right, next one. Identity property of addition. The identity property of addition. I-D-E-N-T-I-T-Y. Identity property of addition. And we again open it up. The identity property of addition states, and here's how I remember it, the number stays the same when adding. It doesn't lose its identity. It doesn't change. It keeps its identity. How do you add something but don't change it? The number stays the same when adding. This is IPA, identity property of addition. How do you add something but don't change it? BB, turn around, please. All the way. How do you add something but don't change the number? Are you ready? You're thinking way too hard. Are you ready to be dumbstruck?
No, I'm not.
You're going to think to yourself, why didn't I think of that? Anytime you add 0, it's called the identity property of addition. It doesn't do anything. Duh. If I had 3x plus 0 equals 3x, that's the identity property of addition. It's pointless to add 0. The only reason we do it is to prove to ourselves that nothing happened. So, trick question. Lots of people say this backwards. Don't say it out loud, I just want you to think about it. The identity property of multiplication. Identity property of multiplication. So we have the identity property of addition, which was adding something that doesn't change it. We have the identity property of multiplication, which is multiplying and not changing it. So we're going to multiply the number does not change when multiplied. It keeps its identity. And this one is IPM. The number does not change when multiplied. And the most common mistake is on this one. And you think to yourself, what? That's crazy. Because the identity property of addition is plus 0, you think the multiplication identity is also times 0, but it's not. It's times 1. -7 times 1. Okay, now in the next page, page 11, we're going to do a little bit of practice on how to use this flipbook. So glue this piece of paper when you get it down on page 11. Take your glue stick, glue down to page 11. And I'm going to teach you how to use this flip book. So in the beginning, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. So here we go. Number 1 says which property allows you to write 4 plus 3 plus 9 equals 4 plus 3 plus 9. So I tell myself, I stop and I think, okay, what operation is in here? Adding or multiplying? So I go over to my flip book and I open up everything that says addition. So you have your addition ones open. And I'm looking. Which property allows you to write? So order does not matter. Did the order matter? 4, 3, 9, 4, 3, 9. The order didn't change. Did the numbers inside the parentheses change? 3 and 9, 4 and 3. Yes, they did change. So my answer to number 1 is associative property of addition. You cannot put IPA because that's wrong. Associative property of addition. Number 2 says explain how the commutative property and the associative properties of multiplication can help you evaluate the product of 5 times 17 times 2 mentally. Here's how it would happen. The commutative property of multiplication, I'd change 5, 17, 2 to 5 times 2 times 17. Why would I change the order of 17 and 2? Caden, why? Yeah, it makes it easier. I can do 5 times 2 really easy, which is 10. And 10 times 17 is... and I'm good. But if I tried to do 5 times 17, I'd really struggle. What property is shown? Oh no, wait. Can you rewrite this? Let's change the directions. I want you to rewrite this using CPA. See if you can figure that out. I want you to rewrite number 3 using CPA. Don't change the numbers inside the parentheses. That's APA. Change the order. So there are 2 ways of doing it. You could change the order inside the parentheses. Is that CPA? Yeah, I changed the order. The numbers didn't change. It's the same numbers that are inside the parentheses. I just changed the order. Or I could change it this way. Did the numbers inside the parentheses change? No, they didn't. But the order changed, so that's commutative property of addition. So don't just assume because there are parentheses it's associative. Solve this one using the commutative property of multiplication. Solve number 4 using the commutative property of multiplication. Rewrite it so it's easier to solve. Rewrite it so it's easier to solve. Who's got a way to rewrite it? Gabe? Because I want 4 and 5 together, because what does that equal? 20. Times 9 is 180. Let's keep going. Number 5, evaluate the expression if x is 5 and y is negative 2. So 33 times what? 5 times what? What should you do first? Without a calculator, Nicholas, what are you going to do first? Yeah, or I can just do it first. I mean, I could put grouping symbols around it to make it specifically go first. But I can multiply in any order. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10 times 33 is negative 330. Let's try this one. 5 times 11 times negative 2 squared. What's negative 2 times negative 2? 4. 5 times 11 times 4. What should I do first? Which one should I do first, Cody? What? 5 times 4 is 20 times 11. 220. 5 squared plus negative 2 squared to the third plus 15. 5 squared. What's 5 times 5? 25. Plus, what's negative 2 times negative 2? I understand that. Negative 2 times negative 2. 4 times negative 2. Negative 8 plus 15. You know what I'd do first? I'd add first. 25 plus 15, 40 minus 8. 25 plus 15 is 40. 25 plus 15 is 40. Minus 8 is what? Let's keep going. Number 8. What can you put together in problem number 8? What do you think goes together? What belongs together? Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. What should you put together? What should you add? What should you combine, Max? 16 plus 17. What is 16 plus 17? So it's x plus 33. In problem number 9, what should you multiply together? Morgan? What's 9 times negative 5? Negative 45 times a. Number 10, what should go together? Negative 2 plus 8. What's negative 2 plus 8? Plus y. You did it. 11. Write it down. What do you think it is? Write it down. 13. Where's number 12? 13. Write it down. Number 1 or 11. What? Who can tell me? Who thought what? Number 11. Who thought what? Cameron. What? CPA. Commutative property of addition. The order changed. Good. Cody, number 13. CPM, commutative property of multiplication. The order changed. Negative 4, A, B, negative 4, B, A. Good.